March 26th, interior British Columbia, Zone 5. And I've just started to work in the garden, and boy, is it a mess. We had a really long winter. Snow first fell November 6th, which is super early. And as you can see, it is pretty much just melting here. A lot of the wood around my garden bed here is rotted out. I need to do a lot of work this year to get this garden into shape. But I've gone no dig, so it'll be a lot less work with no tilling. And this is going to be my first year completely going no dig. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to go. I'm also going to break up some cardboard over there in the far area. Got a couple big sheets of cardboard, and I'm just going to lay them down over that grass and put some compost and probably some wood chips from the garden here, and some soil that I do get from edging around. So I've basically started working in this area of the garden. The sun melts this area first. My compost is also back here, so I start turning it over and extracting all I can from it, of course. Got to do some work here on the bean poles. For whatever reason, we just had a lot of damage to the garden this year. So I've begun laying out compost, edging the beds, and I'll continue on with that and get some mulching done and some repair work here, so lots of work to do. So I've got myself a load of compost here, and my compost does have some sticks in it. I mean, I might fish these out, but overall it's a pretty rudimentary system. It's basically just a hole in the side of a hill. And I got a pallet on the new side there that I'm going to be using. But in the past, I've just had 3 separate piles. And it does take a little longer without the walls and everything, but I have the time and I have the space, so it's okay. But I did get the pallet there, so I thought I'll use that. That'll be a good use of that. Oh, Mittens is joining. Hi, Mitten. But I figured what I go do is lay out the cardboard and start getting wheelbarrow loads of wood chip, dirt, and compost. So these boxes here are going to make a great base for the beginning of a no-dig garden. They're going to break down completely, and the grass underneath is going to break down as well. I might get a few perennial weeds popping up like the dandelions, but that's okay. I can dig them out and use them for tea. So that's fine. But basically this is better than disturbing the earth. It's a heck of a lot less work, and yeah, something for me to easily accomplish in a day. And I was thinking a Three Sisters garden would be perfect here. This is a really sunny location of the property. It tends to be quite dry. I've got easy access to water, so that's fine. But a Three Sisters is a traditional corn, squash, and bean garden. They're all companion plants. They grow well together. They feed each other, stake each other, shade each other, protect each other from pests. So I thought that might be a fun utilization of this space. Plus, I always have the squash just kind of growing wild everywhere, and it just makes it hard to mow the lawn around it, and I think it'll be more neat and tidy if it's in its own little area. Alright, so I got the cardboard all laid out in a nice sunny open position. I think it's gonna make a good little addition to our garden. I've removed the tape or any material that I don't think will compost. You want to do that, of course, if you're gonna do this no-dig style of easy gardening. Yeah, so now we're just going to get to work putting the compost and the mulch and any soil I can rummage up from around the garden that will look like it's extra. I have quite a bit of organic material in these main gardens. We got 5 yards a couple of years ago, which is a lot of dirt. And then the previous load was even more. So I've had a lot of stuff brought in, and then just composting, of course, and mulching and everything. So things are getting well built up. I don't feel like I have to buy any dirt or compost or much organic matter or anything this year, so I'm pretty stoked on that. So I'm going to get to work. And as you can see, it is as easy as that. Charles Dowing says 4 inches of compost on top of cardboard, so I think 2 more wheelbarrow loads of compost ought to do it. And then I'm going to go with the wood chip and mulch it. This is Dexter. He is our new 2-year-old German Shepherd. We found him back in December, and he's a perfect addition to our family after we lost our Bubby Boo last year in August. So it's been really nice to have a dog around again. And dogs are really good for the garden. They're really helpful in general for the property. As soon as our 10-year-old Rottweiler passed, the deer moved in, and whatever remnants were left in the garden, they ate through the snow. Like, they ate fibrous kohlrabis, kale stems. They were even eating at the leeks I left in, which was super surprising because what I have left for leek is kind of what they couldn't get to under the snow. So right away I realized I need another dog or I'm not going to have a garden next year. I've heard people talking about how aggressive the deer can be in terms of garden destruction, but honestly I'd never really experienced it. And as soon as I got him, they had stopped coming through. And they were coming through systematically every day at like 4 p.m. And I think that was kind of their dinner time, right? So they'd come through, they'd eat what they could out of the compost. You know, I had put some plums that kind of went moldy on me. I didn't get to them. And they devoured those. And that might have been the fatal mistake that I made, because after that, they kept coming back. So we really needed Dex. All right, looking good. One more to go. I need a break. So if you don't know who Charles Dowling is, you really should. He's like the father of no-dig. I only found out about this a couple years ago. And my first bed that I ever did no-dig, I couldn't believe the increase in production. It was pretty crazy. So now on my 4 inches of compost, I am just raking around the area and just gathering up some of the long grasses and the leaves from last year, and I'm putting a nice layer of mulch on top of that, and then I'm going to cover that maybe with a layer of dirt and then a layer of wood chip. I'm just going lasagna style, and there should be lots of good nutrients in that bed. Well, there it is, 5 wheelbarrow loads of compost and a big heap of hay or straw for the top. And I'm about done for this morning. Time to go in and make some lunch. So this garden cleanup will be continued on another day. Thanks, friends.